I'm here on the Ophel with Dr. Eilat Mazar. You're starting this is your third phase on the Ophel, yes?
Actually, it's going to be the completion of the second phase. We are still waiting for the third phase,
Okay.
which is hopefully will be very soon. And this is excavating at the very eastern end of the Ophel.
Okay. And you started 2 weeks ago, so you're just off and running. You've spent a few days clearing things out, getting ready to dig. You had a couple of rainy days last week, and now you are off and running.
Yes. Okay, we did spend some time cleaning and preparing access, safe access. We're in the middle of the winter, so we need to be extra careful as to how people walk, safe walking, reaching the places we are excavating. But now we are really reaching, as you said, reaching the archaeological strata that we can really do pure, clean archaeology and start going down and learn this is the history of Jerusalem as we are now dealing with.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit smaller and shorter than the two previous phases, so tell us why it is that.
Well, it's shorter and very focused, relatively small areas. Because it is a completion of what we have already done. So it's in 2013, we started excavating in a cave, but we did some tests then in order to know what we are expected to excavate, and that's what we are doing now, really excavating the full content of the cave, which contains interesting history, but we are going to dig and really learn exactly what it is, and a special phenomenon in the history of Jerusalem by all means, this cave. And then we're going to enlarge the excavations and get more to know about the medallion house, because in 2013 we discovered the treasure of the gold and silver jewelry, including the medallion. With the Jewish symbols, the seven candles menorah and the shofar and the Torah scroll. So now we want to know what is the nature of this building that these people were hiding their treasure. And we have a very interesting and quite complete first floor a building from the Byzantine period. This is the structure. We like to know whether or not it's a regular house that they were entering, whether we can really see some clues to why they were choosing this specific building. And anyway, it's in the middle of the Ophel site, so it's important by itself to get to know this building.
Right.
And we'll see. So this is two major goals are in front of us.
So that's the medallion house would be Amir's area. You've got two areas. Amir, how long has he been digging with you, or how many?
Wow, Amir is digging since 2005.
Okay.
Now calculate that's
Yeah.
too many years.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then our very own Chris is supervising down in the cave.
Well, this is a very nice story by itself, because Brent and the students from the college were starting working with us at the City of David.
Right.
And then at the beginning they were just volunteers, and then they got to know the systems of registration and everything we do. And then Brent became an area supervisor assistant. And he did great. So he became later a supervisor by himself, excavating the most important area of our excavations at the City of David. And now when we moved to the area of the Ophel, Brent again acted as an area supervisor, and Chris assisted him as an area supervisor assistant. And now Chris is an area supervisor in a cave.
Yeah.
So this is kind of tutoring the student generation after generation, and this is beautiful.
Yeah, that's one thing that's amazing about you, because, you know about our college, but obviously it's not an archaeology school by any means. And I know in Israel they do place a lot of importance on the credentials, like if someone has a degree in this or that. So for you to put that much faith in people that are really pretty inexperienced but just have a real eager desire to learn, it really does give them a great opportunity to not only dig but to take on responsibility as well.
Well, you more or less said it all, because if you have such a great desire to learn,
Right.
and this is the base of so many things, it's not just the degrees in university that counts. Of course, it does count. It's not like I
Right.
do not consider that important. But if you're so devoted, so eager to learn, so open-minded, learn on your own, and keep on doing it. This all very hard working. It doesn't come easy. Nothing comes easy, probably in life. So all that together counts so much, and it counts everything to me.
Yeah.
So that's the way it goes.
Right. Well, and then just speaking of that experience that they've picked up along the way, Brent and I were talking about how far back we've gone, starting in 2006. And I believe if you count the repairs you did on the Nehemiah wall, I think we've had volunteers here for 7 different excavations. So we are starting to get a little history. We're not an archaeology school, but you put all those excavations together, and you've seen quite a few of our students over the years.
Yes, and I do believe that we cannot disconnect it with the previous participation of the Ambassador College at my grandfather's excavations.
For sure, yeah.
Starting in 1968. So what
Right.
does that mean? Like
Yeah.
we are...
It means we're getting old.
What is it, 50 years? Is
Yeah.
it 50 years
yeah.
of partnership?
That's
I mean,
right.
this is unheard of.
Right.
And when Mr. Armstrong, at the time, created such a beautiful partnership with my grandfather, supporting so such a degree, unbelievable high degree, of participation and support at the Temple Mount excavations at the time, bringing dozens of students each time, and supporting the excavations all year long. So this is a continuation, and then part of it continued in Yigal Shiloh's excavations at the City of David,
Right.
which I was only a member of Yigal Shiloh's team.
Right.
So it became quite natural, I believe, to see that one day you came and it showed interest. So it was like, yeah, how come you didn't come before?
Yeah.
But we didn't have excavations at that extent.
Right.
So I believe that once you heard that we are having excavations at the City of David, there a year after you were there.
As soon as we saw, right, as soon as we saw Palace of King David in the news, I mean, I think you've done a better job of connecting all the dots to Benjamin Mazar and the ambassadors, because honestly, I do remember when we first saw the article or the news release that you had found the Palace of David. Then we thought we need to get in contact with her, and then do you remember? I think it was email that started it off, and then was it me and Andrew Loker that came over here that first time, just to meet you even,
Right.
to see if we could send some, I know we sent 3 students on the first
Right.
excavation, right?
I mean, you had your own citations, it's not just, to the
Right.
start. So at the beginning, yes, it was 3 students, I believe. It was Edwin and Brent and Jeremy,
Yeah,
right.
right.
And then, well, we all saw that it's great.
Right.
And the results are wonderful. And more students came, and more students got important positions and contributions to a specific dig. So we revealed at the time it's not only believing, it's now almost sure that we are revealing King David's Palace, revealing part of it, but also excavating the area that is outside the Nehemiah's wall and what's underneath, supporting greatly the existence of King David's Palace because it's leaning against it.
Yeah.
And also the tunnel behind,
Right.
which almost only the students of the college participated in. So the contribution altogether of the students is extremely high. That's for sure.
Yeah. As far as the Ophel, that started in, I think, 2009, when Harley and Brent came over here.
True.
And
This was the new excavations.
Right.
We started just believing that we are going to do small work,
Yeah.
completing specific spots that needed to be complete. And then we discovered there is no such small contributions. It's always turned to be very much significant. So Harley and Brent were excavating in area A to 2009. And this area, eventually, as we see now, revealed Hezekiah seal impression. So, and many other stuff, many other important discoveries and finds. So even these area that we didn't expect that much revealed so much. So who knows?
Yeah. So this one ends, this current one that you're on ends about the end of March, you said the other night. Is that about right, you think? Be about a 3-month
Yes.
dig?
Oh, now?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
the one we're on
yes,
now.
Yes. It's a short season,
Right.
relatively.
And then you have anticipated one more like substantial dig on the Ophel, and do you estimate that would be about a 6-month dig maybe, or?
At least.
Yeah.
Okay. The third phase, the full third phase, the very end, the eastern end of the Ophel, where we expect to reveal King Solomon's part of its own palace complex in an area which we believe there is a great deal of probability that the preservation there is very well. So it means meters high of preservation of the construction of that period, of King Solomon's. And the expectations are very high. It's not only, we will need to wet sift a lot to get many more bulai, which we will, I'm sure. And so this is going to last quite some time because the style of the excavation, we need to be very careful and invest a lot in sifting and being more detailed about it. It's more careful as far as I can see. So that's going to last at least half a year,
Yeah.
at least.
And it's impossible to predict when that will start, but when do you hope
If
that
it was
one?
up to me, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. And even 4 years ago,
Yeah.
many obstacles on the way, which I like to believe that most of them are solved, and mainly bureaucratic and the obstacles which are not up to not in our hands.
Right.
Bureaucratical mainly. I do hope that will be solved and that we will be able to go. I do not dare really to say, let's hope 2 months, 3 months, half a year. I learned that this is just, kind of wasting time trying to predict that. But I do hope, and it seems right, that it will be very soon.
Yeah. And if we have, let's see, we have 11 volunteers on this mini phase, maybe next phase we'll send 20.
You can send as many as you like. They are all more than welcome, and we have plenty more room because that area will need many volunteers.
Right.
Yeah. So and the volunteers from the Ambassador College are always welcome. It's nothing to compare with. I can tell you that.
Dr. Eilat Mazar, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much.